Alright, so this is a video I've been meaning to do for quite a long time. It's also kind of a request video. I don't remember who it was that initially requested it, so if you are watching this and could point yourselves out in the comments. But anyway, this is just me covering all the figures that I think are worth using in the game. Like, anything you don't see in these 8 decks is either mediocre or I just don't find them as safe. There are certainly other good options besides just these ones, but as far as like using like the best ones in the game, these are definitely the ones I recommend. Super Saiyan 4 Goku needs no introduction, neither does Blue Focus Flash Vegeta, nor Piccolo, nor UR Trunks, nor Vados. Like, if I really need to go over them though, just take a look at their posing skills. They're freaking great, and they benefit the team tremendously. But Goku is eventually going to hit like a freaking truck by like turn 3 or 4, even with max dupes into HP. Vegeta already hits like a freaking freight train. Piccolo is still one of the best figures, and he was like part of the very first batch. And I would say he's the definitive OG figure that we got from the first batch that's still worth using. Then we have the UR Future Trunks from the second batch figures that came about. And he, to me, is the best ON figure in the game, which is just how much he benefits not only himself and the team, but the master also. There's just so much good to him, and he even screws over Towa. And notice how I don't have Towa at all in any of these decks. It's because I personally, like the majority of the community, cannot stand her. And if I'm going to be using someone to use an ultimate with, I don't want to use Towa, because if the opponent gets an ultimate up, and yeah, I heal off some of the damage, they're just going to blow it away again. So really, what's the point? It's kind of why I stopped using her altogether. Yeah, she can definitely tilt the game in your favor by nerfing a lot of the opponents on the field, but other than that, there are figures that can counter that, such as Trunks. And notice how I have a lot of the same figures in the same decks. These are just for like specific cases where if I need to use the ones that are not in deck 1, I'll go ahead and do so. Like if I need a stronger hitting a 1 unit, I'll go with Jiren, or I'll even go with Godku, because not only is he a great O1 unit, he also buffs the entire team up. And NFZ Goku, I don't really need to go too in-depth with. He's easily one of the best figures in the game now, and he can easily build up defense on everybody, whether or not they're on or off the field. You just have to have them on the field with him at first, and then you can put them off and they'll still be getting defense. Very good figure all around. And Blue Gogeta, this is kind of just a fun team that I put together, but make no mistake, this is easily one of the best figures in the game also, is Blue Gogeta. There's a lot you can do with him. You can protect Focus Flash Vegeta, you can protect Goku, you can protect Gogeta, you know, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you can protect Vegito. There's a lot you can do with him. And then my favorite figure in the game does not need any introduction, and I even have that going on in this deck. I have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here, and then Videl. And I have a lot of them built into speed because, yeah, they have a lot of attack, but I really need the speed, especially on this UI Goku. Because, yeah, he has good HP, but he has, like, next to no defense. And if I want that at all, I would have to use Blue Gogeta. And plus it helps to go first, especially with Videl. Like, she pretty much guarantees that most of the time I go first, and even then when I don't, it's incredibly rare. And this is still one of the best aesthetics in the game, especially if you're one of those who prefer to use 2 Vegito. Just take Trunks out and use another one of Vegito. That's pretty much going to cover it as far as which figures I think are the best in the game to use. I know this is a bit of a shorter one, but if I had to go over a few very good overpowered ones you can use, let's see. There's the original Blue Goku is still not bad, especially the HP version. You can definitely get him going. Just make sure he's out on the field with something like Vados and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Otherwise, he's taking a lot of damage. Piccolo, obviously. Kid Buu, kind of underwhelming now. Whis is not terrible. I would say use the HP version though, but I wouldn't bother. Don't bother with Goku Black. Don't bother with this Goku or this Gohan. Cell and Future Gohan are still pretty good, but kind of meh now. 17 and 18 are very gimmicky. And Bikini 18 is the definition of gimmicky. 16 is just underwhelming. Hit's very good. Either version of Champa's great. Rose Goku Black is a really good one. Let me just go over the ones that stick out though. Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, this Broly even. Particularly the 247 variant. You know, Gotenks is still a very good one. Gogeta's kind of fallen off now in my opinion. And I would say definitely use the attack version of Vegeta over the more balanced one. If only because this one's quicker, and yeah, he has less HP, but you really don't need that defense either, considering he of course goes behind, well, Vados. Bardock is pretty underwhelming nowadays. Just use on to Z Goku or Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and they'll do much better. In fact, he even shares the same spots as Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And even Goku does a lot better in general than he does, so I wouldn't bother with this Bardock anymore. But if you don't have Goku or Super Saiyan 4 Goku, then he's definitely an option for you. Don't use either of the first Omega Shenron, because they just heavily neuter your own team. I don't know what they were thinking with him, anyway. Goku, either version of Focus Flash Vegeta is amazing. Videl's obviously is a very good one. Both Dragon Ball Super 17s are pretty decent, although I wouldn't say they're worth using very much. Either UI Goku's amazing. Either Jiren is pretty freaking good. Any Super Saiyan 4 Goku really is great, and same with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta except for the first one, obviously. I think this is actually the second one we're looking at. I would say he's very good. Definitely consider using him. And then Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta already kind of went over him, but don't use the HP version. Like, look at his attack. That's with him entirely duped into attack. It's going to take way too long for him to get going, and by then most of your team is probably nearly dead. And then Towa, screw Towa. I mean, if you want to piss off people and break the game even more, then definitely use her. She's easily still one of the most broken figures in the game. I personally don't use her, though. And let's see, we have Few. While not terrible in his own right, just kind of takes up space, and he has trigger squares with a bunch of other figures that do a lot better of a job, in my opinion, for the team overall, so wouldn't bother with Few. And then either Super Saiyan 3 Bardock or the first one we got is amazing. You can use Kefla, but she shares the same trigger squares with both Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Videl, and you're not going to fully utilize her because it's going to depend on you going either first or second. Same issue with Dragon Ball Super Broly. And then either Blue Gogeta is really good. Let's see. I just went over Dragon Ball Super Broly. Both Santa figures, in my opinion, are a waste of space and a waste of time, because once you use that trigger square, that's it. All they are is another unit on the field. They're not that great. And then let's look at their spots too. So, bottom left and upper right, we already have Vados, we already have Goku, no point. And then here we already have Whis, we already have Focus Flash Vegeta, and Blue Evolution Vegeta. That's just to name a few, there's really no point. And then this UI Goku, while not terrible in his own right either, I would say just use the original one. He hits much harder and has a lot more potential, especially if you have the HP one duped into speed. And then this is obviously the hardest hitting figure in the game. I recommend using one that's duped entirely into speed. He's also kind of dangerous to use though, especially if you want to gain those permanent buffs, because if you don't have anyone else in the field and it's just him, like, he doesn't protect the master at all. It's just boost for himself, and Yeah, he ignores defense, but he's not getting any, defensive boost at all to himself. He can easily take him out with proper play on just the first turn. The second blue Gogeta we got is ass, in my opinion. Both Ribriands suck, in my opinion. And then, let's see, we have the UR 21. Very good. I would say use this one above any UR 21 due her entirely in speed. He becomes very good and has spots all in the front. He's similar in terms of base stats to the speed Goku I have, and she shares a very similar trigger square with Blue Evolution Vegeta. The only thing he doesn't account for, of course, is the added 10% boosted damage when going first, and the added 10% defense when going second. But still, she's amazing. Any Majub is really good. I would say kind of gimmicky though, you can easily get shafted by double stacking on this one and playing around this one. Like if you just aim to kill this Majub faster, you're pretty much going to make him irrelevant. And to see Goku's amazing. Definitely use the HP version though, and I like duping mine all in HP to keep him around longer. And that guy already kind of went over with Goku. They team up so freaking well together. And let's see, we have the third Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta's. Both are very good, worth using. Omega Shenron, the new one we got, is actually very good. Definitely use the one with more attack. He can easily hit over 12k on turn 1. I don't use him though personally because he subtracts 10% to my ultimate attack gauge, and I kind of need that in all my decks, so I don't use him. Let's see, then we have the super villain Broly figure, who's really ass. And, Supreme Kai of Time. Both are either too gimmicky or the opposing skills and the stats just aren't there. And even then, they only have one spot in the upper middle. And there are better options for that, of course. Piccolo. So there's no point in using her. And then the second future Gohan we got is not bad. You can definitely use him if you want to. But I would prefer to use something else like Android 21 at that point, because look at the trigger squares, the exact same. Then we have this new Super Saiyan Bardock we have here, who's not that great, only has a spot in the upper left, and his trigger square does not proc before the turn order is decided, so what's the point? Let's see, we have this other Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. Well, he has decent attack, even if you don't dupe him entirely into attack. Just use the other one, it's better. And he shares spots with the original Blue Gogeta. There's no point to using him much either. You can put Vado Cerise on the team, or even Blue Gogeta. They'll all benefit your team much greater than this figure ever will. And it's painful. A lot of it was just wasted potential. And then people are easily going to be able to play around this. Mir only has a spot on the right. 2 of them, for some reason. And again, he makes your master take more damage, just like any of the other super villain figures. They could have been good, they could have been really overpowered, but that seriously holds them back. And then we have, of course, the EX UR Gogeta figures. I would say the best one, in my opinion, is definitely this one with the spread. Of course, it's a huge pain in the ass to even, get here, considering that the third Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is UR exclusive, and to try to get 10 of those, and of course limit break all of them, and then just fuse them into this, I could see why that would be a nightmare. Most people are not going to be able to do that. You would need a serious amount of luck and TP medals, or in my case, tools. But anyway, that's pretty much going to cover it for all the figures I recommend using. Special cases I could also recommend, still worth using even today. Let me just get over to them real quick. Okay, so this Frieza here, use 399, very good. Although in my opinion, he's a significantly worse Super Saiyan 4 Goku, because not only is he decreasing attack, he's also decreasing speed. Now if you have Super Saiyan 4 Goku on the field, like 2 of them, it's going to not only negate this, but it's going to help you go second that much easier. Assuming, of course, you're not putting your O1 figure on the field. until, like, you get your ultimate, but still. Just use 2 Super Saiyan 4 Gokus over this one. Unless your plan is to use 2 of these, of course, and then put bottles on the field, that's also going to help out quite a bit. Now, let's see, there were a couple other ones I wanted to go over. Let's see, there was the SR Zamasu, who I think heavily outclasses the UR Merge Zamasu, funnily enough. Let's see, where's he at? Let's see, it was from the 3rd batch of figures, maybe? Let's see, where's Zamasu? There we go, just use the SR1 over the UR, there's no point in using it. And plus, like, if you get this one entirely duped into attack, he's gonna be on the field for quite a while, assuming you put him in the upper middle. You can put him on there with Whis and Vados, for example, just like the UR battle with Blue Goku. I think he even does that. Gonna heal himself, and he's going to continue to get quicker. Just, you know, don't put him in the second team, otherwise, what's the point? He's getting way too much speed way too quickly. And then we have the SR Frost. As far as which one to use, I would say probably 171, because he's not going to attack that much, granted. Like, if you want more attack power, go for this one. But he's got 2 back trigger squares, so if you're trying to go, you know, first, use this one. Otherwise, if you don't carry, you're trying to go second. And, you just want to protect them with, like, Vados or Whis, for example, use this one. You're probably going to want to do that, though, either way. And let's see, the other one I would say that's worth using is the SR version of Ultimate Gohan. Let's see, plus 300 to attack and defense, and that of the ally positioned in front. Additionally, you subtract 300 speed to all opponents on the field. Now, you could instead use the first Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, but this one isn't bad either. And one thing I don't particularly like about this figure, I would say, is, if I'm reading this correctly, I think he also boosts the figure in front of him. Oh, you know what? The ally position in front. I thought it also meant, like, the enemy. That was my bad. But, yeah, very good figure. I would say definitely use this one if you have them and don't have any top tier ones. Slap on your team. But anyway, that is going to cover, like, all the figures I'd recommend using in the game. And I hope you all enjoyed. We'll catch you in the next vid. Peace.